So those of you who have been here for a bit, you know that we are working on our house very slowly, but we are doing it when we have the money. And we have a very big project that we have to do in 2026. I have this video from 2024. That was the beginning, was the first phase of this large project. But this one is where big money is going to get spent. I've mentioned it a few times in previous videos, but essentially we have to tear off the whole front of our house, so all the siding, all the sheathing, everything, and then we have to put in a new header for the front support of our house, because I don't know if I've mentioned it on here, but so this, of course, I've mentioned that it was a porch before, but it got closed in, and the waterproofing didn't get done properly on our balcony that we have here off of our master bedroom. It did not get sealed properly. AJ explains it so much better, but so it was kind of crazy. So the drain for this whole 15 by 5 foot balcony was only about this big, and they had filled the bottom of our balcony with tar and didn't plug the hole before they filled the balcony with tar, and so the hole got semi-plugged, and so the drainage wasn't good at the first. But then, so they filled it with tar, and then they put what we assume is ductwork because it had little channels that clamped together to hold it together. Otherwise, it was just some engineering of their own that they did this. And so there were sheets of metal that were hooked together as the pan of this to try to get it to drain to that one specific hole. But of course, since the hole was not good, the water needed somewhere else to go. But so after the metal part, then they put a layer of carpet on this thing. You cannot make this up. So what does carpet do when it gets wet? Because there is nothing above our balcony. And so it got all of the elements. What does carpet do when it gets wet? It holds moisture and doesn't allow for adequate draining. Of course, again, with this drain plug being partially plugged up with tar, it doesn't help. And so all of the years of everything going down with weather-wise, the carpet started deteriorating, and so did the metal pan, and it started to get cracks because also they just put the metal pan a little bit up, and then they did it all the way across the balcony floor, and then a little bit up this way. Well, about 4 years ago, I don't remember, we had we had multiple big snowstorms, and I think total we got like 3 or 4 feet of snow that whole winter. And we were still downstairs and we were getting ready for church, and I walked out front to let the dogs out because we were letting them out the front at that point. And I hear what sounds like a drip, but it was a heavy drip. And so I walked to the front of our house and I look in what used to be my husband's office, which was one of the nooks. That was the old porch that was framed in part of the house. And there was a very decent drip. And so I went and I got a bucket. And so we got that one under control. But then I heard what sounded more like a whooshing sound, more like a little waterfall. And so I went out and I see water gushing. And I thought that it was just outside because how our house, and I've got a video here that I'll show you kind of how it used to be laid out. So it had a little bit of an inlet, and then it started at the house, and then you could come into the house and there was a little entryway. And so I thought it was just in this little vestibule outside that it was dripping. Well, no, it was in the entryway as well. That it was a pretty heavy drip. And so I yelled at AJ to go get another bucket. And yeah, so we had a couple buckets sitting in the entryway, and we went out the back door to church that day. But carpet was covered in water, so we had to take the carpet out, and just all of this stuff. And this just kind of started the cascade of having to get this done. And so luckily, when we did the master bedroom, we fixed the balcony issues for the most part. There is still some issues with drainage that AJ has got to go back and address, but it's nothing too severe that we can't proceed with fixing this header. with this drainage, so this house, I'll show you here. Look at this. The balcony has this little pony wall at the front, and this is directly in line with the front of our house. And so when that water came up over that 6-inch pan, it came over and gushed into that area, of course, and the header that's on the front of the house took a lot of the beating from it. And there was one day that AJ was looking at it, and he took the claw part of his hammer and he hit at it, and just sawdust fell. And so that's when we decided that we had to completely start from scratch here. So yeah, hopefully, we're hoping that in the first part of April, we'll be able to get this done. And so actually, I'm gonna go get my picture that I drew and show you guys what we're hoping for the final product is gonna be. So when I drew this, I didn't mean to actually paint it, but we were working with watercolors the other day, and so I decided to paint this up a little bit. So yeah, there's my little drawing of what I would like the front of the house to look like. So I'll explain just a little bit. So since this used to be the porch, I want that character of the house to kind of come back in. I want that character to come back and be shown that, you know, I'm not gonna be able to replicate it because I don't have pictures of what this house used to look like. But I saw Lisa from Farmhouse Unbound. I know I talk about her so much, but she is she's very much a mentor for me. I know that I don't actually know her personally, but just, you know, people on the internet, they have influence on you, and I feel like Lisa has really influenced me in my young adult life. So she did this thing that, because she's doing a new old house, but I've got an old house. So I want us to put columns back in to show people, future people, that like this used to be a porch. This was framed in, but this used to be a porch, and this used to be the character of this house. And so I want 4 on the front, and then of course we have 2 brand new windows that we already installed. This one, we have to install this one, but the header above this is so much worse than the header above this. So we were gonna wait until this summer to put this window in. And then of course I've got 2 little lights, my front door, and then some beautiful steps that we are gonna have coming up to the house. I'm just very excited. I'm hoping we are not gonna have this done by winter. So we're probably gonna be at the stage of just tearing everything off and getting down to everything and getting new sheathing on. And then we'll probably get to the point of getting this window put in and getting some house wrap on. And then hopefully, I asked my husband if he could please get my small walking porch and stairs done by September, October, because right now we use pallets as our steps. One of the pallets is broken, and quite frankly, I am so embarrassed for anyone to come to my house and have to walk on the pallet steps. I know it's the process, and I know everybody understands. So our plan for 2026 is to try and get this as much looking like this as possible, and that we will be able to get this project underway as soon as we can. As soon as the snow melts and we've got a clear forecast for a couple weeks, we're gonna start tearing into this. So I thank you very much for being with me for this much longer video than I usually do, of me just kind of gabbing about what's gonna be going on at our house this year. I pray that you have a wonderful week, and I pray that you will see all of the blessings that God gives you every single day.